Ya, Tohoku University itu adalah salah satu universitas negeri, salah satu yang terbaik di Jepang. Dan ini biasanya Tohoku ini menjadi ya mereka ada beasiswa juga dan kelas internasional bahasa Inggrisnya. Oke, kita beri applause buat Profesor Takeshi.
Selamat siang. Izinkan saya untuk memperkenalkan nama saya Takeshi Koike.
So anywhere you go in Japan, you will notice that we have a very distinct four seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. In winter time, Sendai will have lots of snow. Not so much to us, but if you have never experienced snow, you might feel very cold during the winter time. So this is how it looks in the springtime. After long winter, all the cherry blossoms bloom. This is actually one of the campus of Tohoku University. And we have a very famous festival during the summer called Kenapa Festival. And this is how it looks in the fall time. All the trees change colors during the autumn. It's really beautiful and breathtaking. And of course, during the winter time, for Christmas and New Year, one of the streets is lit with about 1 million of LEDs called light pageant. This is also a very good time to visit city of Sendai. If you are interested in skiing, of course, we have one of the best ski area nearby, which is not so far away from the city. Okay, so now I introduce you a bit of the Sendai city. Now let me introduce you about Tohoku University. How many of you here know about Tohoku University? 2? 3? Okay, not many. Okay, so we are not well known. But actually, our university has a long history in Japanese standard. It was established in 1907, 110 years ago. And then this university was established as the third Imperial University. And then we have a very historical 7 universities. I'm sure most of you know University of Tokyo and University of Kyoto, right? These are the first 2 Imperial colleges. And then Tohoku is the third one, Nagoya, Osaka, and then Kyushu and Hokkaido. So these are I think I said previously, these are the 7 top national universities. And then Tohoku is one of them. And then we highly respect these 3 things. We are very much interested in research. Research has the highest priority in our university. So that means we have very many disciplines in graduate schools, as I will show you in a moment. And then we like to open doors to all nationalities and genders and ethnic groups. And then we emphasize on practical aspects of our research and education. It's not enough just to read out of the textbook. And we go beyond how your knowledge can be actually applied in our daily lives. So I would like to now go one by one what we mean by this. So first, as I already said, we put highest priority to research. We're committed to research. So there are many world rankings, and every university wants to use the ranking which put your university the highest, right? Ranking. So we do the same, and overall in the world, 75th. And material science, 22nd, physics and mechanical aerospace engineering, 31st, and chemistry is ranked as 45th. And the reason why we list these three disciplines is that these three actually offer a program for you to enroll in English. And I will come back to this more later. And so this includes the undergraduate and the graduate together. But if we isolate only the undergraduate part, this Times Higher Education runs Tohoku University as the second in Japanese university. Even though we are not well known, in Japan of course it is, but overseas we haven't come to promote as much. Actually this is my first time to be in Jakarta to do this. So I really thank you for this opportunity, for your time. And then we are pleased to tell you that we are designated this year as one of the three national universities designated National University of Japan, meaning that the Japanese government tried to allocate more funding on these three universities. Among them is Tokyo University and Kyoto University, and then Tohoku University. Only three in overall Japan. So I hope to convince you that the Tohoku University is one of the very good research and educational universities for which it comes. And then we have one Nobel Prize winner from history in 2002. And he graduated from School of Engineering. And then he sometimes comes and give a lecture, public lecture at the university. And then let me come to the second point, open door. And we are committed to diversity, and we are the first to accept international students from China as early as 1904. And he is a very well-known novelist, modern Chinese Roger. I don't know. Does anybody know him? No? Okay. But anyway, and then we are also the first to accept female students as early as 1913. So this is what we mean by we are committed to diversity from the very beginning of our university. And then, practice-oriented research and dedication. Actually, you might be surprised to know that the Tohoku University is an inventor of flash memory, or the invention of the dipole antenna, or Miyagi antenna. You might have it on your roof now. It's originally invented in Tohoku University. And also, we are the birthplace of fiber optics. And also, we are the first to come up with magnetic storage devices, like hard disks. So we have a very good, excellent record of invention, which is derived from this practice-oriented research. So we put emphasis on practical aspects of our research, which will impact our daily lives. And now, let me talk about the campus. You might be interested in where the campus is located to the center of the city. Maybe if your parents, you want your children to be away from all the attractions and the temptations of a large city. But our university, marked in green here, is very close to the Sendai station. In many Japanese cities, developments are taking place around the station because we have a very good train system. So actually the station is the center of that particular city. And so from this center of Sendai downtown to this B is where the undergraduate students take lectures and courses for the first 2 years. It takes only about 10 minutes by subway. There is a direct connection And actually, the subway station is in the campus. So you get off the subway station, you're already in the campus. So it has an extremely convenient access to public transportation. We don't need to drive. We have also buses. And same as relatively flat. So if you come, you can just go almost everywhere by bicycle. And then this A and C, these are separate campuses. This is Katahira campus, and C is the medical department. So we have one of the best also, the medical school. And B and E is where you really engage in interesting research. As you advance to third and fourth year, and if you decide to continue to graduate school, this is also where you spend your most time. Okay, and then on the right, so it's just a representative photo of how the campus, each campus looks like. So it's very clean, and also it has many features that make your stay very comfortable. Yeah, so wherever you are located to this center of the city, it takes about 10 minutes. So it's a very nice location. But if you attend to too much, then you will be behind your homework or study, so please be careful. And so this is the overview of Tohoku University academic programs. So when you go to, say, university, by usually the end of fourth year, you get a degree, right? And this degree depends on universities. For example, if it's a technical university or the Institute of Technology, for example, you don't get the degree in literature, right? But Tohoku University is one of the national universities, so we have the whole. I mean, how to say? It's not specialized. It has the Department of Literature, Economy, and sorry, you cannot see in these small writings, but we have for undergraduate 10 faculties and schools. That means you can get degree from all these 10 faculties if you are same as Japanese students, meaning that you can speak fluently in Japanese, no problem taking Japanese courses. And then this shows you the total population of students. Undergraduate student, 11,000, graduate student, 7,000. And as you can see, the ratio between undergraduate and graduate student is almost 1-to-1. And this shows you that our university really put emphasis in graduate school research. So this combines combines to 18,000 student body. And then the number of faculty, academic staff, teachers is 3,000. So the ratio of faculty to student is 1-to-6, which is relatively very low ratio. If you go to a private Japanese universities, this ratio of faculty to student is about 1-to-20. So that means if you go to Tohoku University, you have much more, plenty of opportunity to interact with your teachers and supervisors. Okay, and we are proud of being very international. Please remember that the total body of students was about 18,000, out of which 2,000, right, more than 10% are coming from different parts of the world. And the majority of international students come from various Asian countries. And I'm very happy to tell you that Indonesia is one of the top Asian countries who are sending your bright student to Japan. Do you have any questions so far? Am I going too fast? Is it okay? Okay, now let me also talk about what is the opportunity available for you to go out of Japan while you are enrolled in this Tohoku University. Then we have many exchange programs under the partnership of many universities in the world. So at the undergraduate level, we have 211 institutions in 35 countries. And then for graduate school, 445 institutions in 55 countries. Of course, if you go to graduate school, you will be engaged in research. Research is international undertaking. So, of course, we have much more collaboration with overseas institutions, but even at the undergraduate level, we have plenty of opportunity to go abroad and get some experience other than Japan. And then we also accept international students to Tohoku University. For example, for graduate students, for engineering science majors, we have collabs. And the instructions are given in English, and then the duration of the program is anywhere between 6 months to 1 year. And then for the liberal arts student, we have this IPLA program. It's intended for undergraduate, and then the course is also taught in English, and then about the same duration of the exchange program as the course. Okay. And now, I think this slide, this part, doesn't really interest you because this is what you can expect if you are truly fluent in Japanese and you have no problem taking courses in Japanese with the Japanese regular students. Then there is no difference between international student and Japanese student, so you can get a degree from any 10 of the faculties and schools. But to be qualified, then for privately financed international students, you must take the equivalent of SAT in Japan. It's called EJU, and this is conducted in June or November. And in addition to that, you are required to show your proficiency in English. So the TOEFL scores are required. And then application deadline is in early January, and then you have to pay application fee. This is about 1.5 million rupees, I guess. Yeah. And then entrance examination is held in Sendai. You have to come to Sendai. And the successful applicants will be announced by the end of March, and then course begins in April. This is pretty much in line with other Japanese students. So the advantage of that is that you have no restriction whatsoever. Yeah. So the last two slides are really for a full-blown program. I mean, there is no difference. I'm repeating myself, but there is no difference between Japanese students and international students. If you have enough proficiency in Japanese and then academic skills. So now, this is very particular to international students. And then I am the instructor of this Future Global Leadership program. And then this program assumes no proficiency in Japanese at the beginning. So when you apply, you don't need to know any Japanese. All the courses you'll be taking will be conducted in English, and then you get the degree. But unfortunately, there are limitations in this. We only offer degrees from these three disciplines: science, engineering, and agriculture. So if you want to get, for example, a degree in dentistry, then you have to be admitted as a Japanese student. Same, right? You have to take this EJU test. That's still, I mean, we are trying to, in the future, maybe expand the program to different disciplines, but at the moment, we only offer 3 courses. Okay, so let me explain in more detail what kind of degrees you get in these 3 disciplines. Okay, so the program was established for providing excellent education and research opportunities at Tohoku University to students overseas. Okay, so first of all, from School of Science, we have a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry. This is called Advanced Molecular Chemistry, mostly material science. And then we accept about 10. It's a very selective program, about 100 applicants, and then acceptance is about 30. So 1 in 3 will only be admitted. The next one is the most competitive, mechanical and aerospace engineering. This is a degree in engineering. We have a very strong robotics, and also something like artificial intelligence, and also the aerospace engineering. So this is very popular. It's called International Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. It's called IMAQ. And then for this program, we accept between 10 and 15. And then we have also a degree from agriculture, applied bioscience, called AMD. And the quota is about 10. So in all and all, 30 students at the moment we can accept from 100 to more than 100 applicants every year. Okay, so here is the important part, more practical part, how you apply. Okay, so application guideline will be announced in next month, which will be available on the web. And then this is very unique to our program that you can apply twice a year. Even if you didn't make it at the first selection or first time, you can try another time. So this is for the case of 2017, this year, I mean the last year student, but this is the same, January and May. And basic qualification, yes, is that you cannot have a Japanese citizenship. You have to be a non-Japanese to apply, and then you must complete 12 years of education. And I think Indonesian education system is about it is 12 years, right? So if you graduate from high school, you'll be automatically qualified. Okay, and then these are, I think, I mean, pretty obvious, but this is more important, right? Academic requirements. So you must have this minimum English proficiency. For example, I've never taken this test myself, but I don't know how difficult it is, but you may be more familiar. But that's, for example, Tohoku IBT 79 plus and Tohoku PBT 550. This is the minimum. And then IELTS 6 plus. And then also the standardized examination scores on this subject, mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Or biology for agricultural applied marine biology program. But if you are applying to IMAQ or the chemistry, you must show a very good proficiency with these 3 subjects. And then, like, coming back to your question, right? So we have this SAT subject score we accept, and then this GCEA or IB. And then you said that Indonesia has
national examination.
national examination. So, yeah, I have to get back to you. I don't know the answer directly. Okay. And then we have two screening stages. So the first one, based on your application, only the documents are used to select who are going to advance to the second screening. And then for the second screening, we have interview and written examination. And then we will come to Jakarta. So this is not like over Skype. So you will take the examination in Jakarta, and then we have an interview in Jakarta. And so after the second stage screening, the finalists will be, those who accepted will be announced. Okay, and then the announcement will be available online, and if you Google, you get to this online submission site. But I will leave this slide to the college, so maybe you can fill it out and then share it. All right, so yeah, it's a very hard question. In the other school, it was more to do with academic things, how difficult the subjects are. And I, being a physics teacher, I'm not really an expert on this application details, but yeah, your questions are very sharp, yeah? To the point. Okay, so this is the curriculum. So in any other university in Japan, you are expected to graduate in 4 years. And then, we are very proud to offer Japanese courses for the first 2 years. Even though this course is perfectly fine for you not to learn Japanese, I think it is to your great advantage to learn another language when you are in foreign countries. In this international environment, being able to trilingual, let alone bilingual, gives a huge advantage. So our aim is that you will take a fair amount of Japanese courses so that you, starting from zero, by the time you graduate, you'll be able perhaps to write a simple sentence in Japanese. And if you like to study more, in addition to your regular courses, you're perfectly welcome. Yeah? And so this is not like a duty you have to do, but I hope you will view it as an advantage in our program. And then after second year, you will be going from Kawauchi to the Aobayama campus, where you work on the specific topics in your department. So the first 2 years, you take general chemistry, you take general physics, mathematics, and some other humanity courses. So this is the general education. And then after second year, you will be more specific to what you want to major in. See? And this is, now I'm switching the topics of the living, something about living expenses and the housing situations in Sendai. So, 20 years ago, yes, it was 20 years ago, I think Indonesian people might think that Japan is one of the most expensive places to live. But it's not so right now. We have this bubble bursting economy, and our economy stagnated for more than a decade, and now we are suffering from deflation. But the advantage of that is that the price of things are relatively cheap, much cheaper than, for example, in the US. I was in Boston 3 months ago, but I was surprised how high the inflation took place. I studied in the US 25 years ago, but then that time yen was very strong, and I thought that living in the US was cheap, but it's opposite now. And then, as you may know, if you're interested in going to universities in the US, the tuition If you are trying to get into like Harvard or University of Chicago, Princeton, the tuition is like, I don't know, 50,000, right? 50,000 US dollar a year. That's 200,000 until you graduate. So your parents will scream. Right? But here in Japan, this is average living cost. Of course, there is a variation in different parts of Japan. Tokyo is one of the highest because everything is expensive there. But overall, and I have to tell you that this living expense is excluding housing. I will come back to the housing part. But excluding housing cost, it's about how do you say it? 8 million rupees will be suffice on average.
What is the frequency of this per month per year?
This is a per month. Yes. Okay. And then depending on where you live, the housing cost is about 3 million rupees every month. I will come to that housing. So it's not outrageously expensive compared to the US. I don't know about Europe. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, so this is, I think, the one of the important slides. What kind of financial support we can provide once you are accepted. So, please look at this middle column. As I already said, every year about 30 students are accepted to our program. And then this Tohoku University Presidential Fellowship will provide scholarship, 30. Up to 30. That means if you are accepted, almost no exception, you will get this presidential fellowship. What is it? Every month you get about, what is this? 5 million rupees, right? Up to 4 years. That means until you graduate, you get every month 5 million rupees stipend. This you can spend on anything. And then there was a question, right? How about application fee? Okay, everybody has to pay 5,000 yen. That's what is that? 500,000 rupees. But if you accept it, this application fee will be reimbursed. And then for anyone who is entering National University must pay this entrance fee. There is no exception. Japanese, international, doesn't matter. And then if you are accepted, then this 30 million rupee, about 30 million rupee entrance fee is waived, exempt. You don't have to pay. So that means basically if you make it, you don't pay anything to enter. Any question about this? Okay? And then, so the Japanese National University tuition is really, really reasonable compared to Europe, or I wouldn't say Europe because there are many countries that are cheap also, but US in particular, about this much. So what is it, 55 million rupees a year. It's very reasonable. You can study one of the top universities in Japan, especially School of Engineering and Science and Biology, with this little tuition. And then if you don't want to pay this tuition, you have opportunity to get additional scholarship. Based on your performance, the tuition of 30% up to 100% may be waived, right? And then this goes up to 4 years. So if you keep your grade, good, excellent marks, then basically your education under FGL program is basically free. Please think about that. And then in addition to this, you can apply to a national scholarship from Monbushi, the Ministry of Education. Right? This one, the first 6 months, if you accept it, then you get about 5 million rupees on top of this amount, right? And then this can be extended to 1 year. So that means if you're really, really exceptional then you get about 15 million rupees every month for the first year. Any
Sorry.
question? Yes.
The normal school price per year is the 535,000.
Yes. Yes, this is the tuition of the national university. It doesn't matter where you go to Tohoku University or Kyoto University, it's standard. It's the same amount with this Imperial college. Yeah? Okay? So yeah, again, this is guaranteed, almost guaranteed when you accept it. Okay, so about the dormitory, I mean, as a parents, you might be very concerned where your children stay. So we have a university house which mix Japanese students and international students, so they can gain some cultural exchanges. So for the first, but this only first 2 years, not all Japanese are entitled to enter this university house because there are many applications. But FGL students are guaranteed to be able to stay in this university house for 2 years, first 2 years. After 2 years, you have to get your own apartment. But by then, you'll be comfortable, right? Speaking in Japanese, interacting with local people. And then, so this house is consisting of units, different units. Each unit has 6 rooms. Usually like 3 Japanese students and 3 international students. And then in this unit, each unit has its own lounge, and then the shower room, and then kitchen. So, you know, you are almost forced to interact, right? You cook, and unless you're extremely rich, or eating outside all the time. And but yeah, there are plenty of times to interact outside of the class with Japanese students. And then, you see, this is very reasonable. So about 2 million rupees every month, the housing. So if you remember the number, right? 8 million for living expense alone, plus 2 million, so 10 million rupees every month on the average would be suffice to study in Tohoku. And then please remember, if you get a scholarship, then the actual money you have to pay is much less. Can be zero or extra. Okay, we understand that being abroad is a very challenging and eye-opening program, which sometimes make you very sad. I mean, that's, we call it the growing pain, right? Not every day is like new and happy. As myself, I mean, being abroad, things get difficult, you know. Sometimes you have a problem with the assignment, you are feeling homesick, things like that. But we have plenty of student supports, and I will not go into all the details, but if you're interested in what kind of supports we have, you can Google this, Tohoku University support. Then the webpage will pops up, and then you can find all the information there is. Yeah. But even with this, I mean, many students have downtime. I think it's unavoidable in different countries. Okay, so I think that really brings me the end of this seminar or promotion. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you in Tohoku, and thank you very much for gathering here today and for your time. And this is the one of the dance performed during the summertime. They are international students also. You can, Sendai is rich of culture and tradition with all the modern Japanese obviously facilities. So one thing I like about Sendai is that it's not too crowded. I mean, it's not too rural. I mean, it's just balanced city. I mean, it's very quiet, good for study, but it's not too boring in terms of city life. You can drink, so you don't drink, underage, but you can have tea, or listen to music, concert, museum. And then if you want to go to Tokyo, just 90 minutes on Shinkansen. If it's too expensive for you, you can take the bus.